The sine rule is basically based on what you did in Year 11 maths with triangles, except that this works for triangles where you don't have just a right angle. Okay? Now, the way the sine rule works is with the formula, and the formula is pretty easy to remember. It's A over sine capital A equals B over sine capital B. So the capitals are the angles, and the lowercase letters are the sides. So if we had a triangle like this, with A, B, C, then the angles in the corner, they are the capital letters of the opposite side. So the opposite to that is B, so that angle there is going to be capital B. Okay, what's this angle going to be?
Capital A.
Yeah, capital A and capital C. Alright, so you could even have the formula go as far to say C over sine capital C, and that would work as well. Okay, but we generally are only working with two sides. Alright, so that formula is important. I'm pretty sure it's given to you in the assessment, so you don't have to remember its exact form, but you just have to recognise when you can use it. Alright, so with this side here, we've been given two angles and two sides to work with. One of the sides we don't know. So the first thing I'm going to do is label my sides according to how I labelled that triangle up the top. So I'm going to call this side A and this side B. Doesn't matter if I labelled it the opposite way around, just as long as one's A and one's B. So which is going to be my angle capital A?
59.
Yep, and so the other one's going to be capital B. Alright, now just like before, I'm going to write out the formula before I go any further. So I'm going to have A over sine A equals B over sine capital B. And now I'm going to substitute in the numbers that I know. So I know that A is 40, and I know that the angle A is 59, so I'm going to write sine 59. And B is what I'm looking for, so I'm going to write X, and then capital B is the angle 63 degrees. Alright? Now if I'm solving this equation for X, and X is being divided by sine 63, what step of working would I show to get X by itself? How do you undo a divide by? Times. So I'm going to have to times both sides by sine 63. Okay, so a tiny bit of algebra in there, and what that does is it cancels out the bottom of my fraction, so I'm just left with X. So my next line, I'm going to have X equals, and because when you times a fraction by a whole number, it's just like timesing with that number over 1, what we end up with is 40 times sine 63 over sine 59. Now that form, or this process, it looks quite intimidating, but it's the same every time. So you get used to it really quick if you set it out. You're going to be timesing by the bottom of the other one, and then you're going to have that bottom there. The only thing you have to watch out for when you're putting in your calculator is that your calculator is getting its fractions sorted out correctly. So there's two ways you can do that. One is to put your brackets around top and bottom. Okay. Another way is to work out the top, press equals, and then go divide by sine 56. Alright, so let's do it on the calculator here. So I've got 40, what's wrong?
You said sine 56.
59, yeah. 40 times sine 63 divided by, then in brackets, sine 59. So for this one, we get X is 41.6 metres. Okay. It also pays just to check that this answer seems around about right. So given our other side is 40 and our two angles are quite close together in value, does 41.6 sound about right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. It doesn't sound like it's, if we got something like 100,000, we'd know that we'd probably made a mistake. Alright, this sounds around about right.
Triangle.
Yep. Okay, so that's using the sine rule. There's some questions that you've got on your sheet underneath, so have a go at those.